Hello and howdy, everyone. Here to talk about something I don't usually talk about. DC Universe animated original movie, Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. This was a birthday present to myself. Batman is like my favorite pop culture figure, maybe even work of fiction. I'm not even sure how to classify it. I am definitely a Batman fanboy, and I saw the first, this was released originally in like 2 different discs. This is one disc, one experience. You don't have to change anything. It's seamless. I usually don't review things like this, even though I watch them a lot. I love animation and I love comic books, so I usually end up watching about all of the animated movies that are based on comic books. Usually I don't review them because they're shorts, or I just don't really, I'm not inspired enough to say anything about them. Not the case with this one. This one is quite a feat, really. One of the better DC animated films I've seen, at least since probably the first, like, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Back when their work actually got released theatrically. I mean, I guess they could if they wanted to, but I don't know what the deal is with that. This is 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's the work of one director. It's the work of one screenwriter. So I thought, how does that not qualify as a film? So I decided to review it. Basically just because I want people to watch this and know that it's out there and that it's, pretty awesome. And if you're a Batman fan, it's a must. I think The Dark Knight Returns, this is a faithful adaptation of Frank Miller's work. Not entirely, it is an adaptation, but it does remain true to this, the spirit, the themes. There's some condensing of scenes and some adding in of just to speed things up. If anything, that's my one critique of the film, is that, where it would take you probably, 5-6 hours to read The Dark Knight Returns. Again, this is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So there's plenty of material that's taken out or condensed, but it is a fine adaptation. Written by, let me see, where is it? Why isn't it right there on the back? That's weird. Well, now I'm not going to be able to tell you who wrote it and directed it. Anyway, crap. Well, that's a bummer. Anyway, it was adapted by one screenwriter, which, must have been a monumental task. Again, it hits all the high notes. It's basically The Dark Knight Returns, condensed. And, maybe there are a lot of big events that happen. There are a lot of major, epic story. It's an epic story. And in the film version, it just kind of rolls right along. And it's just like, wow, Batman's having a really bad day. He's having a rough go of it. Whereas in the, novel, the graphic novel, it's just more developed, takes more time, feels more lived in, where this is just boom, 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 in a way it's fine because it's action packed. The story moves very quickly. They're on to something new, basically every kind of half hour or maybe even 20 minutes into another factor of the story. So it just rolls right along. The 2 hours and 20 minutes just blow right on by. So that's good. But again, it doesn't give much weight, much gravitas to the events that happen. It's just kind of like, wow, okay, that's cool. But they don't really come along with any or emotional punch that you will find in the graphic novel. But again, in terms of just a great adventure, kind of definitive Batman story, all the big set pieces are here, and it still is fantastic. Well directed, beautifully animated, well acted. They actually do mention the actors, so I can do that. Peter Weller from RoboCop was in this. Ariel Winter from Modern Family. That's I think the middle daughter or the middle child on Modern Family. David Selby, Dark Shadows. I'm not sure who that is. And Chris Emerson from Lost and Person of Interest. He's the Joker. Basically this story's got pretty much everyone that you would want to see, I guess, with the Batman universe. It's basically Bruce Wayne coming out of retirement after 10 years of being, missing. And so Batman reemerges after 10 years of absence to clean up the city. Specifically, things get rolling with Two-Face, with Harvey Dent being let loose and going on a crime spree. I guess that's kind of what I mean about time passage. There's no emotional build-up to some of these major events, and maybe some of the, I don't know if I can call them the weaknesses of the story. They're brought out, kind of accentuated in that condensed time span. Just for instance, it just kind of seems ridiculous that the Joker would be catatonic for 10 years, for a decade, in the absence of Batman. The Joker gives up and so becomes a vegetable, and then Batman comes back and the Joker wakes up out of his catatonic state, and they're all like, oh, well, let's take him outside, let's put him on TV, let's allow him visitors. It's just like, how would you take the most dangerous man on the planet and allow him visitors and allow him out of his cell at all? Is just kind of ridiculous. But here they have no problem with that. I never even thought of that while reading the graphic novel. The graphic novel is one of my favorites. I read it all the time as a kid. I just feel that I was around at a great period of reading comic books, which would be the early 90s, early to mid 90s, and I believe The Dark Knight Returns came out in the late 80s, maybe 88, 89, I'm not sure. But I had the graphic novel and I read it all the time. It's still one of my favorite books. I think it's amazing. Again, it's I think kind of considered to be one of the seminal Batman works, and probably with the exception of maybe Sin City, and I'm sure you would find some argument. I think The Dark Knight Returns is regarded as Frank Miller's crowning achievement. I suppose if you don't. Even I think it's better than Sin City, but I know that Sin City, is his creation. So it's kind of like, I want to call that his crowning achievement, but God, to turn him loose on Batman was just brilliant. I don't really know what else to talk about. I just, again, wanted to say that, this should be found and watched. It's really good. It's one of the better DC animated films I've seen, if not the best. From, again, since their theatrically released works in the 90s. I don't know what else to say. It just was awesome. I loved it, and it was a great birthday present to myself. Yeah. I guess I'll give it an 8. I have no problems giving it an 8, and I think that's balancing my fanboy lust for the product from like a 9 or 9 to a 7 being. It's just like there's so much to cover, and it goes so fast. It's just, swiftly told, beautifully told too. But it just doesn't really have the oomph, that emotional weight that I associate with reading the novel. But I guess that's pretty much a given. So yeah, I think a solid 8 would be good. But this is a must for any fan of animation or for any fans of Batman. There's a lot of this. Elements of this story will be featured in the Batman Superman movie that's coming out. The Zack Snyder film borrows heavily from this work, and that work being Frank Miller's, not necessarily this film. But I would definitely hunt this down if you're a fan. This is a must. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, the full feature from DC Original. I give it a solid 8. Thanks much.